Hello, my name is Gideon. Merry Christmas and welcome to today's devotion. Lowliness is not a character we associate with kings, presidents and other national leaders. It is actually very rare to find a national leader who is lowly, humble, meek, gracious and merciful. Most presidents today are either dictators or some other tyranny in the way they rose to power and the way they conduct themselves in their leadership. But we are not overly short of examples of real good kings, and Jesus simply represents the best example ever. Now, contrary to being king and son of God, Jesus had a very humble beginning. Kings are born of royal families. Jesus was born of Mary, a peasant young girl, while his earthly father Joseph was a village carpenter. Normally again, kings are born in palaces or in big royal hospitals with the best doctors and midwives around them. It wasn't so for King Jesus. Jesus was born in a stable because the dignitaries and the rich of the land had filled all the hotels and guest rooms in town. Being strangers and perhaps insignificant and despised, not even the women in Bethlehem noticed the need for this young-to-be mother and her husband, even though it was very evident they were stranded. When Jesus, the King of Kings, was born, Mary and Joseph were all alone. In the company of sheep, goats, and cows. When kings are born, you get that as the first page news in every newspaper, radio and television and all, as the sound of trumpets echo from the palace. Jesus' birth never got a royal announcement. Thank God the heavenly angels were not as busy with the census as the men and women of Bethlehem. In that night, an angel of the Lord brought the best news ever announced to mankind. Today, in the house of David, a Savior has been born to you. To whom was this good news? Not to the royal family where kings normally belong, not to the rich because kings belong to the rich class anyway, not to the educated because normally kings are educated, not to the religious leaders because otherwise they should honor and even worship the king. No, to you shepherds. Good news to the poor, good news to the oppressed, good news to the sick and dying, good news to those anchoring for God and His righteousness. And think about it. If we were to pay for God's forgiveness, I'd still be languishing in sin, for I belong to the poor. And if Christ had only come for the royal class only, I'd definitely die in my sins, for none of my ancestors was ever close to becoming a village chief, leave alone a king. But behold how richly God has honored the poor and the despised. Behold what measure of humility Jesus Christ, the Son of the Most High, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, emptied Himself to call me His friend and to make me heir together with Him in the Father's kingdom. Behold what manner of love the Father has lavished on us. Yes, indeed, loving so graciously without measure for an undeserving people like me. Oh, I will ever be grateful to Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, who came to us a time like this. But you know, Jesus is not a baby anymore. This Christmas, I celebrate Him as my King, my Lord and my Savior. And yet, though King and Lord, before whom all will bow, Jesus is still lowly and humble to walk with me and to talk with me. He is my friend, and He invites you to be His friend too. My name is Gideon Momo. Thanks for logging in. Goodbye and Merry Christmas.